Um, so yeah, so as I was saying, so last week, I've received questions, some questions, and good questions, because it was possibly relatively new and why we're doing this. That's good. That's transparency, and I like that. It's very encouraging when I see brethren who, when they hear something, don't stay silent, and then 2 weeks later says, I never agreed with this. It's good that we bring up the questions. It's encouraging, and this is how the body can grow and unite, when we openly question the things that are not clear. So thank you for the brethren who did ask this. So Yom HaBikurim, the wave sheaf first fruits. Why? I'm going to just address a few things. This is a lengthier study, but I'll try to do it real quick. Why is it a day of assembly and worship? I'm going to show the scriptures and make comments if as necessary. So in Leviticus 23, verses 1-2, we read, "And the Eternal spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, the Bnei Israel, and say unto them concerning the celebrations, the feasts of the Eternal, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. And these are my celebrations. These are my feasts." So in these, end of quote. So in these two verses, the Eternal is telling Moses to inform the Israelites that the feast he is about to discuss are to be holy convocations. So verses 1 and 2, this information in verses 1 and 2 apply to every occasion, to every event, to every feast described in the verses to follow them. Okay, so everything labeled here in Leviticus chapter 23, they are my feasts. They are to be holy convocations. These are my feasts, says the Eternal. We're not to leave any of them undone. So therefore, which I've said. So every event described in those subsequent verses, starting with the Sabbath to the last great day of the Feast of Booths, are all holy convocations. Okay, so where does the Feast of Firstfruits, the wave sheaf, falls? First thing, let's make sure we understand what a convocation is. What is convocation? What is a convocation? The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines it as a large formal meeting of people, such as, it says church, but ecclesia officials, a meeting of the members of a college or university to observe a particular ceremony, such as the beginning of the school year or the announcing of awards and honors. 3, another idea is the act of calling a group of people to a formal meeting. Since Leviticus chapter 23, 1-2 applies to all the appointed times discussed in the chapter, then all the appointed times to follow were convocations, including the day of the wave sheaf of the first fruits. There is nothing in Leviticus 23 to hint otherwise. So let's take a quick look. Okay, if you could raise up the screen a bit where it says a day of assembly, just bring that all the way up. We won't go through those verses, but it'll be recorded and you could review them yourself. Look at these verses. The first 3 verses show it's a day of assembly. It's a day to gather. Okay, that's what a congregation does. The congregation assembles and makes an assembly. That's when they actually agree to get together. But the congregation, no matter where it is, never stops being a congregation. But it does assemble and disassemble. Okay, so the next one, where let's scroll up to, says a day of worship. Bring that all the way up. It's a day of worship. So Nehemiah chapter 10, Nehemiah 12 shows us it's a day of assembly. There are many more, but I set those 3. Now it's a day of worship. And now behold, I have brought and it's in Deuteronomy 26, verses 1 through 5 through and 10. And now behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O Eternal, hath given me. And you shall set it before the Eternal, your Elohim, and worship before the Eternal, that um um before the Eternal, thy Elohim. You shall worship. When? Now behold, it says, I brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O Elohim, has given me, and you shall set it before the Eternal, your Elohim, and worship before the Eternal, your Elohim. So Nehemiah told us it's a day to assemble. What do you do when you assemble under their first fruits? You worship. Now, this instruction to worship applied to all the harvest of spring, summer, and fall. This worship was done on the wave sheaf in spring, Pentecost in the summer, and tabernacles in the fall. So let's go up a little bit. Leviticus chapter 2 says, and if thou offer a meat offering of thy first fruits unto the Eternal, thou shalt offer the meat offering of thy first fruits, green ears of corn dried by the fire, even corn beaten out of the full ears. Green ears pertain to Abib of the spring. Okay. So if you could scroll up for me slowly, so all the verses will show, because we won't read them. Okay. Scroll up slowly through that page until we reach Ezekiel 44, verse 30 on the bottom. And it says, Ezekiel 44, verse 30, and the first of all the first fruits of all things, and every oblation of every sort of your oblations shall be the priest. You shall also give unto the priest the first of your dough, that he may cause the blessing to rest in your house. Note, all things implies all four seasons, actually. Let's see what else let's scroll up through these verses, because I want to keep this short, won't go through all of them. And then we're going to go to that portion in Leviticus. The top of the next page, I says, the purpose of the day of the wave sheaf of first fruits. Yes. So